Hello, gentle viewers. Welcome to my channel. My name is Zavindian, and this is the very first video to be posted on this channel. In this series, we'll be doing a Let's Play of Out of the Park Baseball 2018, or rather OOTP 18, because they stopped using years a while ago, as the Cleveland Indians. I've already done the basic setup for the league, so we'll dive right in here in just a moment. For those of you who haven't heard of this franchise, Out of the Park Baseball is created by a man named Marcus Heinsohn. You can see his name in the background. It's a nice little nod to the developer. And his team based out of Hamburg, Germany. Not the first place you think of when you think of baseball, but they do a really fantastic job. One of my favorite games. I've played thousands of hours of Steam of Out of the Park Baseball. And I'm excited to play this new version, which was just released today. That is Friday, depending on when you watch the video. I can't control when you watch a video, so who knows when you'll actually be watching it. So for those of you who haven't heard of the series, it's a baseball sim, and it does not involve any individual at-bats. You don't control the batters, you don't control the pitchers, except for giving broad instructions if you play the games. For me, anyway, this game, we'll go ahead and load it up, is about managing the team. And right away, we see lots of information on the screen. We can see which the next game will be, which will be April the 3rd. We have our email box here, which we'll take a look here in a moment. And since this is the first time I've ever played the game, OOTP 18 that is, we can see there's a notes and task screen here. And one of the things I'll have to do here is hire a new pitching coach for one of my low minor league teams, which we'll do here in just a moment. I want to focus on the current goals right now because this tells us the 4 things we need to do to be rehired. Namely, we have to win more games than we lose this season. We have to sign the first baseman / designated hitter, Carlos Santana, to an extension. We have to acquire a team leader. And within the next 4 seasons, we have to reach the World Series. So you'll usually get 3 short-term and 1 long-term goals. And we can look more at the goals here in just a moment. We can see here the season hasn't started yet. The AL Central has Chicago White Sox, Cleveland Indians, Detroit Tigers, Kansas City Royals, and Minnesota Twins. And these are the wild card teams, and this will change as the game progresses. Here's the league news, which has me taking control of the team finances. Looks like we don't have much money for extensions, and we'll have to look at that here in just a moment. This is my record. I haven't played yet, so no games. What's happened in the league? A lot of these screens will be blank. They do a very good job of keeping up with real news. In fact, Cody Anderson, a pitcher for the Indians, I believe a lefty. Let's take a look. He's a righty, so I was wrong. Was just announced not too many days ago as getting Tommy John surgery. Tommy John surgery happens when you replace the ligament in your pitching arm, in this case his right arm, with the ligament in your non-pitching arm. This is an experimental surgery made famous by the Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher, Tommy John. This is why it's called Tommy John surgery. And it typically takes a pitcher out for an entire year. And indeed, here we see 12 months. So this means he won't be available to us at all for the year. So we'll have to find someone to replace him. And we'll take a little bit more about that in a minute. Jason Kipnis, as we can see, is out for 3 weeks, which means I'll need a new second baseman for the beginning of the season. But that's not that big a deal. These are all things we can handle. So let's begin the game by looking at my season goals in more detail. So right away, 2017, we have to get a winning record. By 2018, I have to extend Carlos Santana. By 2019, I have to acquire a player considered a team leader. And right now I've got a reliever named Boone Logan, which you can tell by the orange color kind of works but isn't ideal. And finally, by 2021, we have to reach the World Series. There's lots of other information on the screen, most of which isn't important, but we do need to look at this stuff over here. And this tells us what kind of owner we've got. First of all, he's very demanding, meaning if we don't pass the goals regularly, we could be fired. He's an economizer, which means he's probably going to make us pay, which means he's probably not going to give us the budget size we might want. But he's not as involved as other owners, and he's got a balanced priority. Right now, you can see he's delighted, and this is, of course, because the real-life Indians went to the World Series last year, and were only defeated in Game 7 by the Chicago Cubs. So clearly he's got a lot to be happy about. So these are the things we need to focus on as we play through the game. These are the goals we have to acquire. Um, let's take a look now at the finances of the team because this will determine what budget flexibility we have now. And right away, we see a lot more information. We can see our scouting budget and our development budget are set to the league baselines, which means we won't be better than any other team, but we won't be worse either. And we'll look at scouting here in just a moment. We can see how much our payroll is, where we get our money from, what our attendance is, and we can change things around here as well. In fact, let's do that. So right away, I want to make sure I have upcoming free agents, so I know whose salary is coming up. And right away, we can see we've got 2 free agents from the major leagues, Santana and Shaw. Attendance is fine. Revenue should be replaced. Let's look at vesting options and bonuses. So right now, we only have 1. If Andrew Miller pitches 140 innings over the course of his contract, he'll receive $100,000. Bonuses can range from much more complicated, and we'll look at that when we look at some new contracts. Overall revenue is not that important. Popular players, this is a good thing to have here. This tells us our most popular players. Record history is pretty interesting. And then we'll change budget history to Rule 5 eligible players. And these are players who, if I don't add them to the 40-man roster, could be selected in the upcoming minor league Rule 5 draft, which will be coming later on in the season. So we'll want to keep these names in mind as we progress. So these are our finances, and the first thing we need to do is figure out how we're going to keep Carlos Santana with no money for extensions, a tall order. If we look right now, we can see what some of these players' salaries look like over time. We'll notice our salaries going up for next season. This is mostly due to the addition of Edwin Encarnacion. We saw it jumps up by $4 million. We've got a team option for Michael Brantley. That's what the team means, as well as one for Boone Logan. So we've got some decisions to make at the end of this season. But let's focus on this season for the moment. So we go to Carlos Santana, we right-click, and we select Offer Extension. He won't take a minor league extension. He's a Major League Baseball player with a long career, and he's probably not going to want to sign for very little. And right away, we can see he wants a very hefty raise, $25 million per season, which is just insane if you think about it. This is almost certainly something we can't afford, and most importantly, our owner won't let us pay for it. So we have to adjust the contract somehow so that it's no more than his current year's value. So let's try $12 million for this time period. And we'll see here it still won't let us make an extension, which means there's probably dead money of some kind that we need to get rid of. So we need to find a way to create some salary space if we're going to re-sign Santana. It may not actually be possible. What if we change this to a 1-year deal? Even then here we can see money left for extension, signed $18 million. So we're right away running into a problem. The owners want us to make one deal, but they won't give us the money to make it happen, which means if we were going to make this deal, we need to cut payroll somehow. And there's not really any big ticket salaries coming off that we can do much with. So this is going to create a problem. And it's not an easily rectified problem. We'll have to wait and see how this turns out for the rest of the season. Let's take a look at our scouting budget. We're going to go ahead and say no to this. We don't really need to bother with how the upcoming opponents are doing during the regular season. I will increase the scouting budget, especially if we have to replace Carlos Santana. And then you can change how the budget is distributed. I personally like a little bit less on in the majors, and I'd like a little bit more for amateur scouting, so that we can get the best possible players when time progresses. Player development, we're also a little bit south of the league development budget baseline. Let's go ahead and kick this up to the baseline because I don't want our players to suffer. And I'd rather not sign Santana. Let's see, did I do 12 million or 120 million? I did 12 million. Very good. So the salary is all set up. One thing we'll do is we will offer extensions to all expiring minor league personnel. This will make sure that we don't have to worry about finding new coaches next season. And now we'll fulfill our goal of signing a new pitching coach. So what we do is we change the filter or the preferred occupation for pitching coaches. And we want the coach tendencies. So we want someone who's got a pretty decent reputation, but all the people with a decent reputation are going to want longer deals. Here's a good choice. Let's look at Doug Bochtler. He does a good job with power pitchers. He doesn't want to be a manager. He's got 3 years of total experience, probably in the minors because there's nothing in this field here. This is the kind of person who might accept our offer. He's got average reputation, which means he could get better as time progresses. So right away we can see he'll take the job. I like a little more stability. Let's offer him 3 years. And he'll come back and talk to us later on. So all of this seems like kind of minor stuff. We haven't done any actual baseball yet, but this is setting the stage for the rest of the season. So let's take a look at our roster now, our 25 and our 40-man roster. So a quick look at the team shows us we've got a very good pitching staff, an excellent pitching staff, but our bullpen is a little weak in some areas. Cody Allen in particular is pretty much your standard closer. Andrew Miller's really good, but other than that, it's hard to say that they're anything special. I want to check one of my settings to make sure this is accurate. It should be set based on, where's the evaluation setting? Here we go. We want to set this on, yeah, let's try turning offset on all players, not positions. Because you want to know about how good your bullpen, your reliever is compared to other relievers. And right away we can see this changes our standings pretty significantly. This gives us a better idea of how good the player is for their given position. So we can see what we're good at. We've got some pretty good offense and pitching prospects. Tyler Naquin is a player with a good future. He's got an overall of 38 and a potential 67. And let's look at some of the player more in detail. This shows some of the ratings that the game uses, which include contact, the ability to hit for average, gap power, the ability to hit things like doubles and triples, home run power, pretty self-explanatory, eye discipline, which is the ability to draw walks, and finally avoid Ks, the ability to not strike out. Something really cool they added to this year, by the way, these are the actual Twitter handles of the players. So you can actually tweet the players during the season. You can yell at them when they make bad plays. I'm sure they'll love that. Some other important information here. We can see their speed, stealing, and base running, how good they are at bunting, and then their defensive ratings. All ratings are on a 1 to 100 scale, except for the overall and potential, which are on a 20 to 80 scale. So 6-7 is quite good. Which means we know that this is a pretty good player and we could expect even better from him in the future. Let's look at a pitcher to see how they differ. Let's look at Corey Kluber. So Kluber was one of the best pitchers in the majors last season. He won a Cy Young Award in 2014 and finished, I believe, second or third. Let's take a look here. Oh, it doesn't list second or third place finishes. That's a shame. But in any case, you do have Kluber here. Stuff is the ability to strike batters out. Movement is the ability to prevent home runs. Control, the ability to prevent walks. And then you can see how good their pitchers are. We've got an excellent curveball, a very good cutter and changeup, and then a fastball and sinker that are a little bit worse. I'm going to try to avoid talking too much about baseball terms. But if you ever have any questions about what a term means or just need some explanation, like how a sinker is different from a cutter is different from a fastball, make sure to post something in the comments and I'll definitely help you figure out what that is here. So we've looked at a pitcher, we looked at a batter. Now let's do some actual decision making. So let's see the minor leagues here. We've got a couple pitchers who have a good future. Not a lot of depth in the high minors. Most of our better players are a little bit farther down. There's Jeremy Lucas, who looks like he could be a pretty solid first baseman. Yu Chang Chong, a very good shortstop. And unfortunately, he's on a team with Francisco Lindor, so we may want to consider finding a new position for him. But he's also quite a ways away from the minors, from the majors, so we'll have to see how he turns out. Here's a guy I'm excited about in real life too, Francisco Mejia, a catcher, a rare switch hitting catcher who combines good defense and pretty good offense. So we'll have to keep a very close eye on him and see how he develops. But there's no changes I want to make at the beginning of the season. Let me think here. Ramirez will play second for us. Diaz will play third. Do I want to call up Urshela? So this is one of the decisions we'll have to make. Giovanni Urshela is a very good defensive third baseman who hasn't hit very well in the past. I think we'll keep him in the minors. I do want to give Yandy Diaz a try, who's kind of the opposite, and that he's got the potential to be a pretty decent hitter, but he's not so great at playing third base. So we'll see how he turns out. So we'll leave the roster as is for now. And now what we're going to do is set our lineups. So the first thing I'm going to do is clear all the lineups and clear all the depth charts so I can decide who I want to put at which position. We don't want pitching stats. I'll edit these before the next episode, so we'll be using different things for this. Let's look at batting ratings for right now. So the first decision we're going to do is Francisco Lindor is going to be our number 3 hitter. In Major League Baseball, you want your best overall hitter to be hitting in the number 3 spot, and for us, that's definitely Francisco Lindor. Edwin Encarnacion will hit 4th, and Carlos Santana will bat 5th for right now. In real life, Santana's a pretty crummy third baseman. In fact, so we don't get confused, we're going to change his position to first base. In the specific case, however, we look at Encarnacion. He's not so good at first base. Santana's quite a bit better. So Encarnacion is going to be our designated hitter, and Santana will play at first base. So this is the core of the lineup. Actually, I forgot about Michael Brantley. We're going to put Michael Brantley in as our number 2 hitter. And he'll play left field. I want someone with a pretty good batting eye as our leadoff hitter. Who will I pick? Jose Ramirez isn't bad. He's got some decent contact. So we'll let Jose Ramirez lead off. And this is just for now. As we play through, we may make other decisions. Okay. Tyler Naquin against right-handed pitchers. That's what RHP means. We'll be batting left-handed, and he'll be playing in center field as our number 6 hitter. So we've got 3 spots left to fill. Yandy Diaz is kind of unproven, so we'll hit him 8th. We will hit... Against a lefty, I'd rather have Lonnie Chisenhall bat, and he'll bat in right field, and then we'll close out with our catcher. So as we look at our catcher, Perez is the better defender, but Gomes is the much better hitter. And I think they're both righties. Yeah, we can see that here. I'm going to make Gomes our starting catcher against righties. So we finished the lineup. This will be a lineup every time we have a right-handed pitcher and there's a DH involved. Since we're in the American League, we usually have the DH. Now we need to fill out the rest of the roster. And right away, we'll put Perez in as our backup catcher. Ronnie Rodriguez is pretty decent at second base only, so he'll be our backup second baseman. Eric Gonzalez, I know, can play short and second. He really only plays short, but he'll have to do for now until we find another utility player, because you need backups at every position. You never know who might get hurt. And then we'll have Brandon Geyer as our backup in the outfield. We've got 13 overall players. I may want to consider dropping a pitcher. I don't like how thin we are at some of these positions, but we'll see how it turns out. For our pinch hitters, we'll pick Geyer. He's a pretty good hitter. We'll have Roberto Perez. And for pinch runners, we'll pick someone like Ronnie Rodriguez, who has decent speed, and maybe Geyer, who's not very fast but has good base stealing instincts. So this is our first lineup, and we're going to go ahead and copy this lineup. No, we can't really copy that over. Yeah, we can. So I'm going to copy the lineup, and we're going to paste it in the regular right-handed pitcher. And right away, it's going to zero him out because we won't get a designated hitter. This is perfectly normal. We don't really want Encarnacion sitting, but Santana can't play anywhere else but third base, and I really don't want him playing third base. What the real-life Indians did in this situation during the playoffs last year, so here, we'll leave a spot for the pitcher, is they put Carlos Santana in the outfield, and I'd rather do that and have Encarnacion play first where he's not as bad. Notice a lack of a designated hitter. This is perfectly common because this is our non-designated hitter lineup. So Perez and is the backup. Rodriguez at second. Gonzalez will play second, third, and short, or third, short, and first for us. We'll have Geyer back up in the outfield, except at right field where we'll make it Chisenhall. And we'll also make Chisenhall a defensive sub. No, Geyer's actually a better outfielder. So we'll actually make Geyer the defensive sub in right field. So a defensive sub basically means that Chisenhall will play in a or Geyer will play in a situation where we need that extra defensive ability in a critical situation. I also want to make sure that once a week, so every 7th game, that Perez gets a start. This will keep Gomes fresh throughout the season. Okay, so we've got 2 lineups finished. We need to fill in the pinch hitters, so we'll do Perez. Sorry, not Perez. This will actually be Chisenhall. Then Perez, then Geyer. And then Geyer and Gonzalez as pinch runners. Okay, so now we're going to take this lineup and copy it again. And this time we're going to do this for the left-handed pitcher. But we're going to change this lineup around a little bit to take advantage of some of the platoon advantages that the Indians have. Specifically, Lonnie Chisenhall, and let's take a look at his ratings, is pretty decent against right-handed pitching, but not very good against left-handed pitching. He hits about 7 points lower in contact, much worse power. And so in this case, we start Brandon Geyer in left field. Brandon Geyer, we can see, is a good defensive player, but more importantly, against left-handed pitching, he's pretty solid. So we're going to put Geyer in at right field. Sorry. We want him, yeah, we want him in right field. So Geyer will play right. And now this lineup is pretty much done. We just fill out the chart. Again, every 7 days we have Perez. I know this is a lot of setup, everyone. This is the only time we'll have this much setup. The rest of the game will go much more smoothly. So there we go. Whoopsie. Eric Gonzalez plays in shortstop. And Chisenhall will back up in the outfield. Just like that. Our pinch hitters will be Chisenhall. Actually, we'll put Chisenhall below Perez. Try to get Perez some at-bats this way. And then we've got Rodriguez has decent speed. Gonzalez has better speed, so we'll do Gonzalez as a pinch runner. And we'll put Rodriguez in too. So then one final time, we copy the lineup. We paste it here. And I don't want to sit Geyer if I don't have to, but I don't want Encarnacion out of the lineup. So it'll be first for Encarnacion in these situations. Unfortunately, we don't play too many of these minor league games, or these interleague games where we have to worry about this stuff. So it won't be the end of the world if Geyer gets a break every now and again. Geyer will back up in right and in left. We'll even have him play some center for now. Let's see here. Perez is the backup catcher. Again, every 7 days, we want Perez getting a start. That'll keep Gomes fresh and let Perez get some experience at the position. Gonzalez at first, Gonzalez at third, and Gonzalez at short. Pinch hitting, Geyer, definitely number 1. Followed by Perez, and then Rodriguez as the number 2 pinch runner, and then Gonzalez. So that's it for our lineup. No, Gonzalez is number 1, Rodriguez is number 2. So this is it for the lineups. I know this took quite a while, probably wasn't very thrilling, but it needs to be done, and I think this is a good way to show you how the game works. Pitching will be much, much faster. So right away, we'll clear the pitching staff. We'll sort by our pitching ratings. Kluber, no-brainer, is the number 1. We'll have Carrasco pitch second. Carrasco will pitch second. Salazar will pitch third. I like Tomlin more than Bauer, so we'll go ahead and have Tomlin pitch fourth, and Bauer will be our final starting pitcher. Cody Allen is going to be our main closer, 9th inning or later. And we can choose from different secondaries, but since he's the closer, we'll make him a backup in middle relief. Andrew Miller is going to be our setup man who comes in the 7th inning or later. Actually, they added a new role, high leverage. Yes, please. So high leverage, this is a new change to 2018's, OTP 18. High leverage means someone who comes into pressure situations, and this is the role that Andrew Miller was designed for. So 100% definitely want him in this role. And we're going to bring him in as early and as often as possible, just like Terry Francona did in the real major leagues. Okay, let's fill out the rest of the bullpen. Brian Shaw can come into the game in the 6th inning or later. He can be a middle relief as a secondary pitcher. Boone Logan is our lefty specialist who can get some middle relief work. Which leaves us with 3 pitchers. Dan Otero is going to be middle relief. We're going to use him more often. And that'll be his only role. I don't see a need to add a second role for him. You know what? Maybe a specialist against righties. No, we can't do that here. No, that's fine. Who's got better stamina, McAllister or Armstrong? Neither one is really good at it. So we'll make them both just middle relief, secondary long relief. I happen to know that Zach McAllister used to be a starting pitcher, so he might be able to get us through a couple of innings if we need it. So our pitching staff is already set. No one needs a pitch count. No one's really that young. We don't want starting pitchers pitching in relief. That all looks good. Okay. So we're at the point and where it's really time to start thinking about playing some games. And that's what we'll actually close with today. I'm going to sim up to our first opening day game and then show you one of the games if you play the games out. Normally I don't. Normally I sim through every game, and that's what we'll be doing for later things in this series, except for really important games. Then we might actually watch it live. But in this particular case, we're going to simulate up to our next game, which is exactly what we're going to do. So this is the screen you see when simulating. It shows how the different teams are doing. It's not going to take a couple seconds here to just do some scouting. This day will change. Right now it's only playing games for some airstrikes. Oh, we get a trade proposal. The Angels are offering me Yunel Escobar for Carlos Santana. This is a really bad deal. You can see here, I love this. Assistant GM Mike Chernoff says, this is not really close to being fair. We should ask for more. I could have told you that. Escobar is a player much more known for his defense than he is for his offense. Right away, we're going to right-click on him, set status to not interested, so he'll never offer him again. And then just to make it perfectly clear, this is a stupid idea, reject trade. And now we'll go back to simulations. So periodically you'll get that. You'll get trade offers, you'll get people asking about players they think might be available. Normally it'll sim a little bit faster, but this is partially because we have so many extra leagues in here. It'll be a couple of seconds. Here we get the news that our minor league pitching coach signed, which is excellent news. So let's continue. So when we say total games 3, this is probably, again, some of the other teams that are playing, some of the other international leagues. I'll try to remember to show you guys a list of the international leagues we have playing. We've got Cuba playing, we've got Japanese baseball, Korean baseball, Taiwanese baseball. And these could be sources for us to have better players in the future. There's Japan's baseball, NPB. I choose to have all these open because it adds more players, but we'll see how this turns out. We've got another trade. So Connor Gillespie is a third baseman, and third baseman is a weak spot. But Michael Brantley's really good. But Brantley was injured recently. Let's take a look at his injury history. This is a new feature, and it'll list all the different injuries they get. It doesn't have their real-life Major League history, but as we play the game more, we'll see here. Oh, wow. We only get him for 1 more year. And he's got a team option, if I remember correctly. I'm going to reject this trade. But that one actually gives me some pause. So this is what we'll do now. So we'll just, again, keep going. That's the Italian Baseball League. There's also the Dutch Baseball League. We'll see how this turns out. Okay. So we see that Jason Kipnis has healed up for us, which is very good news. So we've got some changes to make. We're going to change this to disabled list. And we're going to find ourselves a player we can send down to the minors. Probably Ronnie Rodriguez. And this will change the entire complexion of our team and how it runs. So Kipnis is back in at second base. And we're going to start changing some things around. Let me make sure they made change here. Good. So just so I remember, this has no actual effect on any of your teams, but we're going to change him to third base. And now I'm also going to send Yandy Diaz down to AAA because I want another outfielder who can actually handle center field. And right now, the best choice is Abraham Almonte. So now we've got 5 outfielders and plenty of infielders. So now let's see how this changes things. It'll be pretty straightforward. Ramirez will now play at third instead of second. Kipnis will play at second. We'll let Eric Gonzalez back up here. And we'll let Almonte back up in center. Do I want Almonte to actually start? because Tyler Naquin doesn't hit all that well. Against left-handed pitching. You know what? I think we will actually start Almonte against right-handed pitchers, RHP right-handed pitchers. But we will set it up like this so that every 5 games, Naquin gets a start just to see if he can improve that over time. So this lineup is now done. Again, Ramirez to third, Kipnis to second, Gonzalez to second, Almonte will start. And we'll add Naquin in as a pinch hitter, and that'll be much better. Good. For right now, as far as the lineup's concerned, I'm going to back Kipnis 6th. Wait, does Kipnis have better on-base abilities than Ramirez? Let's see. So I, for Kipnis, is 59. For Ramirez is 46. He hits for better contact. He's just a pure better hitter. Okay, so we'll actually swap Kipnis and Ramirez, and Kipnis will lead off for us. And lead off. Left-handed pitchers, again, slide them over. Kipnis at second. Gonzalez at second. Okay, Kipnis will lead off instead of Ramirez. Again, Kipnis will lead off instead of Ramirez after we put him in. Boop. Boop. And I forgot to put an Almonte in center field here. We're only going to have Almonte. Is he pretty good at base stealing? He is pretty decent. So we can put an Almonte in as a pinch runner. No, this is incorrect. This should be like this, because Almonte should be playing against left-handed pitching, because that's the platoon difference. So Almonte in center, Almonte in center. There we go. And we'll bump up, we'll swap Ramirez and Almonte there. That's fine. Move him up. That's fine. Okay, that looks pretty good. So excellent. I'm glad to get Kipnis back. That solves a lot of problems for us. Let's check our email. We see some trades have been made. Nothing too thrilling that really affects us. What is this, the White Sox or the Cubs? This is the White Sox. So the White Sox have picked up a new second baseman. We'll have to see how that turns out for them. They are in our division, so this has a little bit more importance to us than something else. So play up until next game. Things will start happening here very shortly. I know this first episode is a little bit slow. As we get in, we'll probably be looking at maybe 1 to 2 months per episode. We'll be simulating quite a bit faster. So this is going to take a moment. Auto play is interrupted because regular season starts today. That's fine. So again, we get the season expectation. We get the slate of games for opening day and the top 100 prospects list. And we're not on this list, unfortunately. The best Indians prospects probably Francisco Mejia. If we look at top prospects, Mejia is going to be our best one, I bet. Yeah, at 92. This game is not going to like us. It's not going to like our staff a huge amount. The Indians trade some of their best players last season, their best minor leaguers, so we'll have to see how it turns out. So we're going to simulate up to the next day, and now we finally have our first game. Okay. So we're going to make this a bit of a longer episode. Let's see how long this has been so far. Because I want to show you guys a game. So that's what we'll do right now. You'll notice it also lets you simulate 1 week at a time if you want. This is because I have challenge mode on. which lets you simulate only 1 week at a time, or to certain dates. I usually simulate 1 month at a time, but this will be fine. So let's play the game. So it's going to create pictures for everybody. We're going to try playing this in 3D mode once we actually start. So I'll do all the managing for my team. Warm-up rule, yes. All this is fine. We will change it to short play-by-play, delay mode per line, and we don't really need the microphone picture. So let's start the game. We'll get some nice background music here. We're on the 3D view, so we'll see how this turns out. So right away you'll notice when you're playing the games, you get to decide what your players do if you want. Usually I just hit the space bar to simulate to the next batter, but in this case, we're going to tell Kipnis to swing away. And so here we go, you get all this detail about what's happening, and Kipnis draws a walk, which is very good news. One thing I've noticed we don't have is we don't have the pitch tracker, which may be something I will change for next time. Actually, can I add this in here? Do not automatically set up. Yes, I want the pitch locations, please. Oh, I see. It's going to try to stick it over there. There we go. This was going to make it a little more exciting. And we'll get to see how things are going. And this will help me make decisions later on. So we've got a runner on first, and we can tell he's got decent speed, but he's not so great at stealing. I'm just going to go ahead and let them decide what to do, because I trust Brantley. So I just hit spacebar, he hits the ball, and it's in for a hit. All right, so we've got ourselves runners at first and second with nobody out. Let's see here. Darvish has already thrown how many pitches? 10. I'm just going to go ahead and keep going. I don't see any need. He draws a walk too. We've got bases loaded for Edwin Encarnacion. Encarnacion, you're going to take the first pitch. He takes a strike. You're going to take the second pitch. It's a wild pitch. And we just scored our very first run. You can hear the crowd booing because we're in Texas. And so that's it. We've already got ourselves our very first run. And now there's no reason not to tell him to cut loose. Oh, and Encarnacion strikes out. That's a shame. Well, maybe Carlos Santana can bring one home. Where'd the ball go? Up, just a lazy fly ball. But we scored on the play. So, excellent news. So we're up 2-0 already. Must be some Indians fans in there. We can hear them clapping. Let's see what Jose Ramirez can do. And it's a fly out directly to second base. So, that's the first inning. Now that we're pitching, we've got some other choices here. We can put on a shift, although I don't really see the need. Delino DeShields isn't very good, so let's just go ahead and have him pitch. And perfect. An easy ball to the third baseman. He threw to first. Let's take care of Andrews. And we struck him out. Lovely. And now Oder. And Oder gets a base hit, unfortunately. But we couldn't have expected it to go too easily. Beltre's one of the tougher guys in the league, but I still feel pretty good. And it goes right to Kipnis, who flips it to first, and the inning is over. So already we're off to a great start, a 2-0 lead, against a team that did make the playoffs last season. So let's see what Lonnie Chisenhall can do. Chisenhall strikes out, which is unfortunate but not unexpected. Let's get Tyler Naquin hitting. He strikes out too. And the bottom part of our lineup, not as effective as the top part. And Darvish struck out the side. I didn't think this would be too easy a game, and we're proving it right now. So we have Kluber pitching to Gallo. Gallo's got a really good power number. So we'll try, just for the sake of argument, I'm going to press number 2, or I'll click here so you can see, to have him pitch around. And he walked it. But Gallo's got pretty scary power, so I'm okay with that. Now, against Lucroy, we hit number 1 to just have him pitch. And we get ourselves a nice 6-4-3 double play. Exactly the kind of thing you like to see. Mazzara now has nobody up. And he's going to hit a pop fly that the catcher catches easily. Actually, that was the pitcher, because 1 is for the pitcher. So that worked perfectly, a walk, but he's only thrown 21 pitches and he's feeling pretty good. As opposed to poor Yu Darvish, he's already thrown 35 pitches. Let's go ahead and go for a swing. He strikes out. I'm going to have you start to take some pitches. Let's take another pitch. It's now 2-0 count. 3-0 count. Clearly he's afraid of him. You're going to take that pitch too. That's a called strike right down the middle. And now we tell him to swing away. So what I did was have him burn some more pitches. A, to get Darvish's stamina worn down more. And B, because the first 2 guys struck out pretty quickly. So swing away Brantley. And Brantley takes a walk. So we can see how you can actually positively affect a game. Let's try something kind of sassy. Let's try a hit and run. So a hit and run in baseball is when the base runner takes off for second, and the batter's job is to just make any kind of contact, which means at the bare minimum, the hitter should reach second base pretty easily. Even better, Lindor gets a hit, and Brantley makes it to third. So let's see how the hit and run works. We made good contact, and we got Brantley up to second base, although Lindor was out. Now we get Edwin Encarnacion. Let's have him go ahead and swing away, and he takes a walk. So Darvish isn't at his very best today, which is always good news for the Indians fans. We'll have Santana, and he draws a walk too. Bases loaded with Jose Ramirez up. We're going to go conservative, and we're going to take some pitches. And I took 2 pitches he probably could have hit. Ramirez hit the ball, but it's a ground out. So that's kind of a shame, but the important thing is we're still leading. And now Corey Kluber strikes out Carlos Gomez. I love the little animations in OOTP 18. These were far less advanced in 17. I love the little player animations. It's very good. Well, Profar's going to get himself a nice hit, only a single, but that could have been a lot worse. Profar's got some decent speed, so let's tell Kluber to throw over to first. A simple pickoff throw, and Profar's trapped at first, which is fine. I'm going to have him pitch to contact, and let's try to double up Profar. Oh, that could be bad. Oh, right in front of Naquin, and that's a triple. That was pretty bad. That was a pretty bad decision. And now we've got an even faster guy on third. Strike him out, Kluber. And they just tied it up on a ground ball. There wasn't much we could do there. But we strike out Oder to end the inning. I think it becomes clear, by the way, why I normally just sim the games. I'm not very good. I'm not very good at all. Chisenhall strikes out. Naquin is hit by a pitch. That wasn't very nice. Lucroy's got a pretty good arm. I'm not going to try to steal second. I'll just have him swing away. Ooh, very nice. Gomes hits a double and scores Naquin. Nice work. Very nice work. We've got Kipnis back up now. We have 3 runs and only 2 hits. Let's keep this going, Kipnis. Oh, beautiful hit. That's going to score again. Another double. The Indians had a very good lineup last season. It looks like we're going to have ourselves a good lineup this season, too. Brantley strikes out. Well, not everyone's perfect. And so does Lindor. But the important thing is we're now up 2-0. And Kluber's still only thrown 45 pitches. We should get at least 6 innings out of him, maybe even farther. Beltre grounds out. We get a strikeout for the next batter, Joey Gallo. Lucroy hits it hard, but right at Kipnis. And so another easy 1-2-3 inning. I predict Darvish is going to get pulled out of the game here sooner rather than later, but we'll see. Encarnacion has not had a good Indians debut. Not at all. I'm going to make another change to our screen here to try to get some more information. So let's do this, configure screen. I want the lineup offense. And I want the lineup. No, that's fine. That's fine. That'll just tell us the lineup for the... Yeah, we'll do this. We'll see how that is. I have a feeling I literally... Here we go. This is what I wanted. I wanted some actual useful statistics that we could look at. So we're going to put these guys over here at the bottom. And us over here at the top. And this gives us a good kind of overview. So no hits for Encarnacion, unfortunately. But we'll see how he does here. Notice, by the way, they include the shift information. They do this for Santana in real life as well. We could try something really sneaky. We're going to try to bunt for a hit, which really works because of this defensive shift. We'll see how this works. And he bunts it foul. Well, you might as well swing away now because it's a 1-2 count. And it's a ground out to the shortstop. Well, that's not that surprising. And Jose Ramirez strikes out. 10 strikeouts for Darvish. If Darvish hadn't been walking so many hitters, I don't think we would have 4 runs right now. So Nomar Mazara faces Kluber. You can just pitch away, and that's a hit. Okay, with a guy like Gomez, who's not very fast... he's not overly fast anyway. No, actually, he does have pretty decent speed, so I'm not going to try to double him up. Let's just have him pitch. He got the runner at first. I can take that. You don't want anything too crazy. There's Profar. Kluber struck him out. 3-2. Very nice. Let's have Delano do shield, and he strikes out too. So Kluber's having a really good game. I'm really pleased with him. That's 5 innings, and he still hasn't passed anywhere near 100 pitches. Another strikeout for Chisenhall. It's been feast or famine this game, I tell you. And Naquin gets a lazy fly ball to center field. Yan Gomes, that's going to be an out, unless the outfielder drops it, which he did. Well, that's all right. All right, so Kluber's sitting on 75 pitches right now, and we can see he's got a good stamina rating of 95. And we can see that here, which means I'm going to keep him in the game until he proves he can't get people out anymore. An easy out. Back to Kluber. Oder hits a nice easy one out to right field. Over to third and back over to first. The defense has really gotten it done so far, and Kluber's still not even at 90 pitches. Up, we've got ourselves a new pitcher. We now have Alex Claudio. Kipnis isn't too bad against left-handed pitching, so we'll go ahead and leave Kipnis in. And of course he strikes out to make me sound like an idiot. Well, that's okay. Michael Brantley, he's up next. We're not going to pull Brantley out of the game. He grounds out, unfortunately. And then Lindor, he's in for good. I think Lindor's going to be another easy. You can sing along if you want to. Please don't feel obligated to. I will not sing. Nobody wants to hear it. And now we've got Joey Gallo facing Corey Kluber, who's still at 84 pitches. So a nice easy out. Kluber faces Jonathan Lucroy. Lucroy got a single. Not the end of the world. But I think we're getting to the point where this is probably Kluber's last inning. Kluber faces Mazzara. Oh! He beat that one out. I think it's time we start warming people up in the bullpen. Let's see. We're in the 7th, so we'll do Dan Otero just in case. But I really want Andrew Miller warming up. Because if there's an important at-bat, I want Miller warming up in the bullpen. Let's pull this down a little bit now that we've got more room. This is handy. I like that. I like that you can scroll down and see everyone that's available to pinch hit and that sort of thing. So come on, Kluber, get in. Oh no. And Kluber just gave up his 3rd run of the game. 2nd run of the game, sorry. No 3rd run. I was right the first time. You just got to keep pitching. You got to get yourself out of it. No, don't walk Mazzara. This is bad. No one's ready to come in the game yet. Mistakes were made. Oh my god, a double play. A double play. Kluber weaseled his way out of that one. That should have been a lot worse. Oh goodness. Okay. Alright, that's his last inning. Miller's going to be coming in the 8th inning. You can be sure of that. And Encarnacion almost got his first hit as a member of the Yankees. Not good. Santana strikes out. That's unfortunate. Jose Ramirez strikes out. Or not strikes out, grounds out, rather. Alright, Kluber, 108 pitches. Only 3 earned runs, walked only 2, struck out 6. We've had a fine day. It is, as they say, Miller time. So Andrew Miller comes into the game. Don't be confused, even though he's a left-handed pitcher, Miller was one of the best pitchers in the game, period. And I can't imagine a guy I'd rather have pitching right now. And he strikes out Andrews. He strikes him out. Odor's going to get a hit to the outfield, and it's caught. Very good. And Adrian Beltre. Easy peasy. We're going to let Miller, because we don't know if we might need Miller tomorrow in the next game. So please give me all pitchers. And let's get Cody Allen warming up. He is the closer for the team. I trust him. And I want to keep Miller nice and fresh in case we have to use him in back-to-back days. So here comes Chisenhall. And another out. Which is unfortunate, but we have to accept it. Tyler Naquin strikes out. Yan Gomes. Oh, that one sounds like it was hit hard, but right to the center field. So now it's all about Cody Allen, the closer. Can Cody Allen get it done? Struck him out. Nice. Jonathan Lucroy who was almost an Indian last season until he decided at the last minute he'd rather be traded to Texas. Gets a single. A nice out to center, a nice out to left field. Get it done, Allen. Strikeout two. Another former Indian. Yes! The first save of the season for Cody Allen and our first win. So you can see, oh, this is new. Oh, they added win probability graphs. So this tells you as the game progresses who they think is going to win. Very good. The red represents Cleveland. The blue represents Texas. So I got off to a great start in the first inning. It shifted back in Texas's way when they scored a run. Then they scored, and it looked like it was pretty bad until Miller came in the game and really got things shut down. And after that, it was all Cleveland. So very good news. Very good news indeed during the Texas at-bat. There's this brief little blip where it looks like they might win. That's when they got the single, and then we struck him out. We get this nice little recap, which is really cool. Player of the game, Kluber. Perfectly fine with that. I'd love to see more and more of this. Oh, we can generate the WPA graph. Oh, I see. It'll just regenerate the graph. Okay, that makes sense. And I get some achievements. Very nice. My first save, my first quality start, and my first victory. Very nice. So anyway, that concludes the first episode of this series. Kind of a long one. In the future, I'll try to keep them a little bit shorter, unless you like them this long. That's really up to you. That's your decision, not mine. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment down below. Say if you think I should do anything differently. Maybe you've got a player you think I should trade for. Maybe you think I made a mistake in managing the game. I probably left Kluber in for too long. And hopefully I will be back soon with a new episode. Until then, have a great day, and I'll see you soon.